Good evening. I am here to show you guys how to make homemade butter, homemade whipped cream, and homemade sour cream, all with one basic product from Pampered Chef, and that is our whipped cream maker. This thing really is an amazing product. I know the name of it is whipped cream maker because that's what it's really known for, is the fact that it can make homemade whipped cream in literally just 30 seconds. It's quite phenomenal. And what's really nice about when you're making your homemade whipped cream is that you can flavor it any way that you want. So you can use vanilla. That is the basic ingredient for flavoring your homemade whipped cream is vanilla. Tonight we're actually going to be using a Patron coffee liqueur to flavor our whipped cream, but you can also use like Bailey's, you can use Kahlua. In the holiday time when the pumpkin spice stuff is out, you can use that as well. So you can use peppermint extract, coconut extract, lots and lots of stuff that you can use to flavor your whipped cream. So why don't we get started with our first demo, and that is homemade whipped cream. So here we go. We're going to take cold whipped cream straight out of your refrigerator. And that is the biggest difference between making whipped cream and making the homemade butter is the temperature of your whipped cream. So you want to make sure with whipped cream that your heavy whipping cream is really, really cold. So we have a fill line here on the side, right there. So you're just going to fill the heavy whipping cream up to that line. And then we add in the other two ingredients, which is just going to be our powdered sugar. Now I do like to use a little extra powdered sugar because in my opinion that never hurt anybody. And our coffee liqueur this evening. So you want to use about a teaspoon of that. Now this stuff goes great in coffee, on desserts, pretty much anything. And we just start pumping. And you're going to pump for 30 seconds. Now once you do this a couple times, you're going to know when your whipped cream is ready. So it may not even take you 30 seconds. If you're somebody that really gets after it, your whipped cream can actually be done much quicker than that. So we just pump. Now it is going to get tougher to pump because the air is actually getting in there and making the whipped cream thicker. So it's like you have your own little churn right here. And I can feel it getting thicker. Little workout for my right bicep, but that's no problem. Need a little help in that area, especially if we're eating whipped cream. So here we go, just that quick. Homemade whipped cream. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, great at the holidays. I've also used this to make homemade mousse. You can make meringue with it. You can do like we're doing this evening when we're going to do the sour cream. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm going to use another whipped cream maker. Yes, I have 3 in my kitchen because I use them so often. I usually keep one in our camper because they're really great for scrambling eggs. Not cooking them, just getting them nice and scrambled. And you add a little heavy whipping cream. This will hold 4 eggs. Pump it. Makes the fluffiest scrambled eggs you've ever had. I can promise you that one. I use it all the time for that. So we're going to use 1 cup heavy whipping cream. Again, up to the fill line because that is a 1 cup measurement there. So simple. Now we're going to use the juice of 1 lemon. So let me cut this in half. In order to get all the nice juice out of there, we're going to use our citrus press. The best citrus press on the market. It is made of ceramic, so it is not metal. You don't have to worry about it rusting. It's not plastic, so you don't have to worry about it breaking. You're going to go pulp side down. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make, is that they always want to do the pulp side up. So with our citrus press, you always want to do pulp side down. We're going to squeeze our lemon juice straight into there. It's great for making margaritas. It's also great for pressing spinach. So if you find yourself making spinach dip and you're going through a half a roll of paper towels to get it all dried out, just use our citrus press. It's really, really great for that. 1 more. Now the acidity from the lemon is actually going to make that curdle, which is fine. That's what you want it to do. We're going to put our lid on. Simple, 2 ingredients for homemade sour cream. And you just pump the handle. So if you find yourself out of sour cream and you've got whipping cream in there and you've got in your fridge and you've got a lemon, then you've got the ingredients to make homemade sour cream. Much healthier for you too, by the way. If you're looking for things just to kind of make things a little healthier in your kitchen, this is a great way to do it because you're using your own ingredients so you know exactly what goes in there. Isn't this nuts? At Christmas time when I was making pies for a whole lot of people, I had one of my pies that I was making was a chocolate mousse pie, and I thought, you know, I've got a lot of mousse to make. I'll pull out my mixer and do it that way in a big bowl. And after the first batch, I'm like, no way. I went back to my whipped cream maker and started making the mousse right here because it's so much quicker. It's just so much faster. I mean, mousse is literally heavy whipping cream and pudding mix. Any pudding mix you can find. Isn't that crazy? Because you can make chocolate mousse, cheesecake mousse, but here we go. We have sour cream, folks, sour cream. Just that simple. Neat, right? Now, here's the star of the show. We are going to be making homemade butter. Now, I love to make homemade butter, and when you do it in your own home, again, you know exactly what goes into it. You can also flavor it any way you want. So this evening, we're going to make 2 batches. I'm actually going to split the batch in half, and I'm going to season 1/2 with the French toast popcorn seasoning, and the other, I'm just going to make salted butter. So super simple. Now, with butter, you want to make sure that your heavy whipping cream is at room temperature. That's the most important thing to remember when making butter. So I've had my whipped cream just in a little warm bath here. Get it nice and kind of warm, I guess. And we're going to pour our 1 cup into here. And that's it. Put our pump handle on and we just start pumping it. Now, you're going to notice anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds that it's going to get a little clumpy. That's perfectly fine. That's what it's supposed to do. That's actually your butter solidifying. And it's going to separate from the buttermilk. And that's when we're going to use our cheesecloth and we're going to rinse off the butter. And after that is when you're going to divide it or you're going to season it. So here we go. Just keep pumping. So back to the meringue, that's another item that I make in our whipped cream maker, which is really nice. Homemade mayo also, by the way. You can make homemade mayonnaise. The meringue is super easy. So I'm looking down here and I can actually start feeling this because the pump handle is getting very choppy and I'm seeing the buttermilk splash around. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but we've got some solidity in there. A little bit more. All right, let's check it out, huh? This is the coolest thing. I love this. Now, we've got some suction in there because of all the air, but if you can see, we have homemade butter, folks. Homemade butter. Look at that. All right, so this is now where we're going to actually take our cheesecloth. I'm just going to lay it over so that we can drain everything out. I'll scrape that here in a second. I want to tap this part out. Of course, we have our little scraper here. These are always nice and handy for any project in the kitchen, and it actually goes really nice with the whipped cream maker too. Spoon, scraper, all in one. Handle doesn't separate from the scraper part, and they don't discolor, which is really nice too. This top part up here. Now, if you really, really wanted to get every single bit that you can, you take our cake tester here and releaser, and you can kind of poke out the rest of the butter that's in these little holes from whipping it and make sure that you get all of it. It's a $5 tool, definitely worth having in your kitchen because you can use one end to test a cake. You can use the other end to lift out brownies like mini muffin pan, brownie pan, muffin pan, things like that, that may be a little harder to get out. And it just releases it right from the side of the pan. Okay, set that aside. And now we'll scrape out the rest of the butter in here. So the next thing we need to do is I'm going to squeeze the cheesecloth so we can get all that buttermilk out. And then we need to rinse it. And you're going to rinse it probably 2 or 3 times until you see the fluid that is squeezed out comes out clear. So, as you can see here, I'm just squeezing out all that buttermilk. And you don't want to go too tough with it because you don't want to squeeze your butter through the cheesecloth. So, nice amount of pressure there. Now, if you obviously cook with buttermilk, this would be something really nice to save and use. You know, if you're frying chicken or something, right? So, okay, I'm going to just step behind me and I'm going to rinse this out. Cold water. because we don't want hot water when we rinse it. We don't want to melt the butter, do we? Little tips like that sometimes that you just don't think about, and that's what I'm here for, folks. Okay, so it's a little cloudy still, so we're going to go ahead and rinse again. And definitely clearer on this side. Now I'm going to pull up my 2 bowls since I'm going to separate it and flavor it differently. So you can see just how fast. I've actually made 3 different food products. Three food products with this product in a matter of minutes. Open up our cheesecloth, and right there, look at that, folks. Homemade whipped butter. Amazing, right? Gosh, God, this stuff is so good. All right, so back to our scraper. Like I said, I'm going to take part of it and put it in one bowl. I'm going to take the rest and put it into another prep bowl. I'm using one of our 2-cup prep bowls, and I'm using one of our 3-cup prep bowls. 1, because they're easy to mix in, and 2, because they have lids. So I can make the butter, and I can store them in my prep bowl. I'm just scraping the excess butter right off of the cheesecloth, because we certainly don't want to miss any of this good stuff, do we? Look at this. Oh. And I tell you what, folks, I'm running a special. I don't know if you saw it in the post yet, but if you buy 3 whipped cream makers, you're going to receive either the Measure, Mix, and Pour or the Egg Slicer Plus for free. That's our monthly April guest special when you spend $75. But the one thing I'm going to throw in for you is one of these. This is our French toast seasoning, and this stuff you can eat right out of the palm of your hand. Let me tell you, it is amazing. And it's got a maple base to it. It goes on, not just, it's a popcorn seasoning, but they really should take the word popcorn out because it is great with carrots, sweet potatoes, apple pies, your pancakes, your French toast, your waffles. I mean, it just goes in anything. It's really quite tasty. It even goes nicely in the palm of your hand and licking it. So let's get this stirred up. Just that simple. Just that simple to make homemade butter. Sour cream, whipped cream, mayo, meringue, mousse. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Now, I did just so happen today to make a homemade loaf of bread, which is going to couple nicely with my French toast butter. Set our buttermilk aside here. Get this one stirred up that I just salted. Now, obviously, this will firm up when you put this in your fridge. But here we go. We have a great bread knife here, right on our cooling rack. See, one of my children came by and pinched part of the top off. But do you blame them? Because I don't. Because it's homemade bread, right? So, bread here. A little French toast butter. Wow. I mean, good on anything, right? Pancakes, waffles. Check it out. Delicious. All right, well, if you tuned in, I'm so glad you tuned in. Thank you for joining me. Again, we made homemade butter, homemade whipped cream, homemade sour cream in less than 15 minutes. Just mind-blowing, isn't it? So there is a link on the post. This special runs through Monday the 15th. I will ship them directly to you. These are going to make great teacher gifts, by the way. I've given them to my kids' teachers before. They love them. It's something different, something new. You know, don't give them the same old stuff. Give them something they'll actually use in their kitchen. The kids, by the way, love this as well because it's very easy for them to pump the handle up and down, and they really feel productive in the kitchen and like they're helping because it's something that they can participate in. So, one more time, whipped cream maker, they're $25 each. I'm running a special. If you buy 3, you get our monthly guest special, which is either the Measure, Mix, and Pour for free or the Egg Slicer Plus. And I will also throw in the French toast popcorn seasoning. When you place your order, I will go in and add that back into your order. I'll ship directly to you. We made homemade sour cream, homemade whipped cream, homemade butter in less than 15 minutes, and that's not even all you can do with it, folks. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Good night, everyone.